What's up, boys? Welcome back to the second quarter. We're going to go over some players to watch here. I'm Jacob Wolf.
I'm Dalton Carty.
And we're going to have a breakout offensive player and defensive player, and then an offensive and defensive player that we think is going to fall off.
But first, we're going to pose for 3 thumbnails because we forgot to do it in the last 2 videos. So let's go with pose number 1. Okay. Pose number 2. Pose number 3. All right, let's kick it off with the players to watch here. So who's your breakout offense player?
Kyle Pitts. And listen, I get that he was good last year minus the touchdown value and being incapable of scoring a touchdown in America. Because, that just didn't happen. He scored one in England, so good for him. That means he's, internationally famous now because he scored a touchdown there.
Just wait till next video. I'll talk about Kyle Pitts.
We'll
talk about fantasy players.
He's the number 1 target on the Falcons with Ridley out because, he wanted to make some parlays, but Deshaun Watson only gets 11 games. We're
putting a $1,500 game on your team to win versus allegedly sexually assaulting 25+ women.
Yeah, we're not going to get into it, but it's
but Alvin Kamara assaulting a man, not going to get suspended at all. All right, I see. I mean,
if you really, Henry Ruggs technically never got suspended. He also hasn't been convicted yet, so why isn't he out there?
All right, well, continue with your breakout.
Okay. It's going to be Pitts. He's the number 1 target on the Falcons right now. They got a new quarterback. Tight ends are always a safety blanket when a new quarterback comes in. I just think Pitts is going to have a big year, especially if he can add some touchdown value to how good he already was last year, putting up over 1,000 yards on less than 70 catches.
Well, I will admit that Delaney Walker was Marcus Mariota's favorite target in Tennessee. I don't think Kyle Pitts is going to be in Atlanta. With that being said, my breakout offensive player is going to be DJ Moore. If you can't tell, I'm high on the Panthers this year. I am in no way, shape, or form a Panthers fan.
They probably think you're a Panthers fan,
I'm in no way, shape, or form a Panthers fan.
They probably think I'm a Chargers fan.
I'm not a Panthers fan. They got a really good young team. Baker Mayfield's going to come in and change the culture. I think DJ Moore is going to break out this year. He's got an upgraded quarterback from Sam Darnold and PJ Walker and Cam Newton into Baker Mayfield, a guy who we know can actually throw the ball. So I think DJ Moore is going to have a really good breakout year this year.
I get it. Baker Mayfield's also just a great energy to have in your locker room.
Mm-hmm.
He might be kind of a piece of shit, but
yeah.
Isn't that what you want in a franchise guy?
Exactly.
I mean, look at Tom Brady.
Just bringing that energy.
Look at Tom Brady. Look what he did.
Is completely different than Foxborough Tom.
All right, so you want to do fall-off offense or breakout defense?
We'll do fall-off offense. And I think it's going to be Deebo Samuel. There's a new, rookie quarterback coming in. Tight ends are usually the safety blanket. I think, with Matt McDaniels, Mike McDaniel, I couldn't remember his name. With Mike McDaniels leaving, he was the offensive coordinator who really established Deebo Samuel in that offense. I think with a new offensive coordinator coming in, a new quarterback, and George Kittle's going to be healthy this year, that Deebo Samuel's kind of going to have a fall-off year. He's definitely, not to say that he's not going to be a star player, but he's not going to have the impact on the team that he did last year.
That's a fair assumption. I'm kind of the same way about Adam Thielen.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like he's never really been like a deep threat kind of guy. He's never been a big play kind of guy. And if Jed is he's already a top 3 receiver in the league, and if he establishes himself as the number 1 in the league,
mm-hmm.
then Thielen's production is going to fall, and that's going to just give Jed more touches.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely agree. So who's your breakout defense?
Christian Barmore, defensive lineman for the Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
They lost J.C. Jackson, as I'm sure you all know. And I just feel like someone inside the pass rush is going to have to step up to get pressure on that quarterback and work on stopping the run because the secondary took a big hit with the loss of J.C. And I just feel like it's got to be him. Deatrick Wise. He's going to do what he always does.
Mm-hmm.
Then I just feel like you need a guy like Christian Barmore to be a run stopper with Matt Judon, pass rush, and come off the outside.
My breakout player was going to be either Jeffrey Simmons or Harold Landry, and then Harold Landry tore his ACL, so that kind of defeated, because they both kind of assist each other.
They work off each other.
But with Harold Landry getting injured, now all the attention is going to be Jeffrey Simmons. So my breakout player this year is actually going to be Kenny Moore, DB for the Colts. A lot of people don't really know his name, even though I would say he's a top 10 defensive back in the NFL. He's going to be He's going to be
That's bold.
He's going to be the defensive back number 2 on the team this year with Stephon Gilmore coming in on the Colts team. He's going to, guard the wide receiver 2 guys, the slot guys, and I think he's just going to really take off there because he's not guarding talent that's equivalent to him.
Would you like me to name 10 DBs better than him right now? Ramsey,
Yeah.
J.C. Jackson.
Yeah.
Are we doing safeties or no?
No.
Okay, well then you should have said corner because he probably is a top 10 corner. But
Well, that's what I meant.
okay, I can name probably 15 DBs better than him if we're counting safeties.
I probably need 30. I'm just messing. But yeah, so as far as cornerbacks go, Kenny Moore is the top. I think he's top 10, and he's really going to show that this year, especially being the second on the depth chart here, and Gilmore's going to be guarding the number 1 guy. So Kenny Moore is not facing talent equal to him, and he's just going to take off.
Oh, definitely. For fall off on defense, I got kind of a bold pick here. That's probably the boldest thing I've said so far today. Tyrann Mathieu. I know he's been one of the best safeties in the league for a long time now, but he's getting up there in age, and I just feel like I don't think he's going to fall off a cliff this year by any means, but I do feel like that his production is going to slowly just start to decline over the next few years, and it's just a tough position to play in, especially with how much faster wide receivers are getting and how much bigger and stronger tight ends are getting, like guys like Kyle Pitts, and he's in that division now. I just feel like Tyrann Mathieu isn't going to have like the phenomenal years he's been having for the last few.
I agree with that take. I mean, age is just going to catch up to him.
It has to at some point, unless you're Tom Brady.
My defensive fall-off is Von Miller. I know I called him a key piece on the Rams championship team.
Well, he was, because they had so many other weapons there on defense.
But with the Bills, one, they overpaid for him. When you pay for somebody, they usually kind of suck.
Yeah.
And then 2, I think age is catching up to him. I think he's 34. He's going to be 34 this year. He's the left outside linebacker. He's doing the pass rush. I think Father Time's finally going to catch up to him, and it's not going to be the same.
I'm with you there. I just don't think Von Miller is. They paid for the name. They didn't pay for ability.
Yeah, exactly.
They paid for the name to put fear into the hearts of opposing quarterbacks. But if you understand what's going to happen this year with how old Von Miller is getting, it's just not going to do as much for you as he would have in years past. But that's going to do it for this episode. We're going to be back with one more episode. It's going to be over Fantasy Football Outlook, and we're going to be back in a few.